Let's Think Pink Together, presented by Island Cancer Center, the American Cancer Society, and Crown Plaza Resort Guam. For 36-year-old Jessame Cruz, she was on top of things when it came to checkups. But in October 2020, she was doing a self-examination of her breasts and felt a significant lump, about 3 inches.
I was afraid to even tell anybody, but the next day I asked my coworker to feel what I felt, and she was like, "Jess, it's really big. You should say something." But, I was afraid. I didn't want to do anything about it. That same night, I told my parents about it, and I was already thinking the worst.
It wasn't until a constant nosebleed a couple days later that Cruz knew it was time to go to urgent care. From there, a lot of tests and procedures were done to find out exactly what the lump was.
So I had a biopsy, and that's when I found out I had stage 3 invasive ductal carcinoma cancer with what we call a triple negative disease. And that's what caused it to spread so fast, because I always get my annual checkups every year. So I had one in February, so I don't think we would have missed that lump if I go every year. So from February to October, I felt like it was growing in a big span of time.
Telling her family was an emotional time for Cruz, who also serves as director for Tender Shepherd. She said rather than stay home and cry, she returned to work.
And the kids there, they are my inspiration through everything. They're the ones that got me through it as well. And so being there kind of got my mind off of everything.
In the beginning, the mother of 2 didn't want anyone to know. She wanted to remain private, but when she realized the cost of treatment, she had a change of heart. She also realized that by sharing her story, she could help others who were going through the same thing.
Everybody has been there. I couldn't be any more grateful for them. My family, the place that I work at, the parents there have been nothing but supportive through it all.
In the beginning of her treatment, she had 4 rounds of chemotherapy.
Those were the hardest, definitely the hardest. But in my first treatment, there was a lady that I met. I don't remember her name, but she just gave me a lot of hope. My blood pressure was always so high because I was always so scared. It was very tough. It was very tough. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to eat. And so I actually did, with my chemo meds, I did 20 rounds.
Soon after chemo began, Cruz started to lose her hair. She shaved her head, and her family and support followed suit. Surgery was to follow.
It took a while. Again, there was a lot of hope because they were saying, "Oh, you should only remove 1 breast, you're young." But then looking at, because I had the triple negative, they decided maybe I should do both. So again, I was filled with hope, and then I had like a week to decide what was the best thing for me.
She had the double mastectomy and continued with her chemo, powering through with the love and support she received from family to close friends and even the kids at Tender Shepherd.
They saw all the changes, but they never once had nothing but nice things to say about me. So it always lifted up my spirits all the time. People from, I'm going to be at Tender Shepherd for 17 years. And so to see that people who I've made an impact on their kids' life were still reaching out, and it just made me feel that, my hard work doesn't go unnoticed.
Speaking of going unnoticed, Cruz, who got all her procedures done at FHP, praises the staff for taking care of her every step of the way. Cruz is currently preparing for reconstructive surgery. And with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Cruz has this to say to those women who may be afraid.
If I could reach other ladies, I always tell people, no matter how young you or how old you are, you should always check. Because who would have thought, I was only 34, they say, 40, you should start getting your mammogram. It was a long process, and I've actually learned a lot from all of this. Don't second guess anything, even if it's just so little. I know sometimes we think it's petty, but it's always good to just get checked all the time. I know a lot of people they always say if you check, it's hard, but don't second guess. Get checked, get your annuals, even if you feel something little, it doesn't hurt to see what it is.
Joan Charfauros, KUAM News. Let's Think Pink Together, presented by Island Cancer Center, the American Cancer Society, and Crown Plaza Resort Guam.